From the bed to a booth, for the old to the youth, it's Artist Block and it's season 2. Season premiere, it's all happening. My name is Imaad and this is episode 22 and season 2, episode 1 of Artist Block. Glad to be back. It's been over a month since I came, and Artist Block will be returning once again every Sunday at 2 p.m. We got two co-hosts with us for here today. First off, we have Mili. She's going to commerce at Ted Rogers, graduate of BCSS, and ex-head trainer of BCSS DECA chapter. Say hello.
Hello.
We also have Deanna right beside us. You are also an executive on the DECA team, sales associate at Calvin Klein currently. Yes. Graduate of BCSS and also going into commerce at Ted Rogers. Say hello.
Hi.
I always forget it. Here's your card. Well, yeah, before we begin, if you want to request a topic or if you want to come up here, be sure to follow us on all our social medias. We're ArtistBlockPod on everything, or you can shoot us an email. artistblockpod@gmail.com is going to be the way to go. You can also subscribe to us to get these episodes as soon as they come out on YouTube, Google Play Music, iTunes, and SoundCloud. So, how was y'all's summers so far?
Pretty nice. Relaxing. Nice to be out of high school. And excited to go to uni. Yeah.
Are you excited to go to uni?
I mean, it's excited, but very scared because I know what's coming and I don't know if I'm ready, but I mean, I really have no choice.
Would you say that high school prepared you for it?
No.
Damn, man.
Yo,
one of these days, I want to meet someone who actually says yes.
Okay, it's one of those things that when you go to high school, you do something so broad. You go from sciences, math, business, you do everything, right? But when you go to university, you're going for one specific thing. So
Oh,
yeah, I love how Deanna just
so
stopped
sorry.
talking like completely. Everybody else just like doesn't just act like I didn't do anything, but you're just like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
yeah. But yeah, like it's such a big change, and you really don't know what you're walking into. Teachers always, I feel like they over-exaggerate what happens.
I feel like they did that with high school.
Yeah, most definitely.
Like, if I were to go back and, like, talk to the same kid, like, talk to myself in, like, middle school, I'd be like, dude, this is not that hard.
it's not that serious.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not that serious.
Not that serious.
And the reason why is because you end up maturing enough to just get over it pretty fast, like, as a person. Thank you for coughing away from the mic. You're the first person to do that. You get a clap. Because, literally, no one does that. They're always just like, can you stop?
Do I need to call Life Alert for you?
Where were we? Yeah. So high school, if you were to describe it, the entire 4 years in one word, because I asked this to Darsh and asked it to Jason as well, what would be that one word?
Not a word, but I think it was really resemblant to a roller coaster. Like there was ups and downs.
That's a word.
And noun. But it was up and down and it was super fast. Like I remember in grade 9 they would tell you that these 4 years are gonna like pass by in the blink of an eye, and I used to think, come on, like 4 years, I mean, I think I'm gonna notice that. Nope, it was so fast, and it was like a roller coaster.
Would you say that some years felt longer than others?
Yeah, most definitely. I think for me personally, it was grade 11 because grade 11...
God damn it.
I know, I'm so sorry. Well, at least you have a forewarning, but it's one of those things. Grade 11 is when you start, like your mindset shifts from being in high school and enjoying it to, okay, well, this is what I need to do for university, because that's when you start taking your prereqs for grade 12 for university.
Yeah.
Damn. What about you? What would be the longest year for you?
Honestly, for me, grade 11 was fun. And then in grade 12, first semester,
this is why I hate this grade, because no one ever gives me a straight answer.
You're going to make it fun. I mean, you're, like, involved in so much. But for me, like, grade 11 was fine. It was grade 12 first semester. That was a drag for me. I've, like, a couple of classes, I mean, they hit me really hard. And to get back from that, it was a lot. So,
yeah. Wait, what was your one word? Roller coaster? Deanna, what would be yours?
Mine would be tragic.
Oh, my God.
See,
jeez.
I
don't even have a sad sound effect.
It sounds bad, but the thing is that it could
She's
be
being honest.
tragically beautiful, right? Like one, like, I guess something go with...
That stung me.
Was deep?
It's deep. It could be tragically beautiful.
Yeah, because, like, you can stay up all night doing a project, and then at the end of it, you end up with a 99 or 100, right? So even though the process was tragic, your end result was really beautiful, right?
Yeah, that's gonna happen to you
more than you
think it is. Oh, yeah.
What would you say, what would be the easiest year? Not just like, okay, because people always have, whenever you ask this question, people are just going to automatically say like, oh, grade 9. But in reality, if you were to look at yourself in that moment, it was probably much harder than you realize it. Mm-hmm. Like kindergarten must have been like it's super easy if you look back at it, but it's like in the moment, I don't know, it might have been hard.
Yeah.
What would be the hardest year?
From
in the moment.
I think it was like my last semester of grade 12, and that was because I had all my prerequisites. So I had
for like university and stuff?
For university. So I had English, advanced functions, and data. So the thing is that it's one of those things, like if you fall behind in a course, you're like, okay, it's fine, like I'll pick it up with another. But the thing is that you have certain requirements you have to meet. And then like if you slip even 1%, you're like, oh, that's like 0.25% away from my average or whatever it may be. Mm-hmm.
Would you say, okay, so like I know this question can be asked to like literally anybody who's done high school or whatnot, but like BCSS itself, if you could say like one good thing about it and one bad thing about it, what would it be?
One good thing, it's taught me a lot in a sense that like even in the worst parts when you think you're doing so bad, there's always going to be that one chance where you can like improve yourself. And I got that multiple times with BCSS, whether that be like, you know, talking to teachers about what I can do better. Even in DECA, like I knew that I would get better year by year. So I think BCSS was really comfortable, and it like, you know, made
Would you say that that's specific to BCSS or the high school experience?
I genuinely think if any high school I went to, I would have that feeling, but I don't know that with for sure. So
I think it's like, for instance, I would say I grew up and I developed in the business department because every single year I took some sort of business course, and that connection that I built with the business department, all the teachers, I think it really helped in the sense that, okay, like if I wanted help with accounting or whatever it was, I can just walk in and ask, or if I just wanted to sit there and talk to one of the teachers about life, like I was comfortable enough to do that and talk to them and get their opinion on things.
Yeah, the business part was definitely like a comfort zone. I remember we would walk in to, I had, I think, a business course, I can't remember. Oh, business leadership. And I would just walk in, ask to go to the bathroom, and just sit on the couch and talk to Mr. Barnes. It was, it was the best.
You see, I always like noticed that about like your entire group of friends and all that. It's like the business department was like the place to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, I started noticing that. And then at the end of the year, literally like on the last day, this is at commencement because I volunteered.
Yeah.
As I'm walking out, Mr. Barnes goes, by the way, you have access to all of the business classrooms at any time you want. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It
like
is.
We don't have to sit in the cafeteria. We don't have to sit on the floors. We're like, oh, we have something to do. Insert whatever it may be.
Have you ever sat on the floor?
To eat lunch?
Like no, for like a good amount of time, like at lunch, and that was just like the place to go.
Oh yeah, our group, and I think it was grade 10. The lockers right in front of 108.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We would sit there, and the thing is that it's like one or two of us. It's like between 10 and 15 of us, and we take up more than half of the hall, so everyone has to kind of squish against the other wall and make their way around us.
Wow.
Yep.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of another question, but like, because this is why okay. There's like, it's a double-edged sword to not have notes anymore, because people always said I was too prepared, and then like the guests would just be like, I don't even know what I'm saying, and then I'd be like,
that's a mood right now.
So now I'm just like, I'm just gonna ask a question based off whatever. Let's talk about DECA, I guess, because okay, people think this is like borderline sponsored, but like, okay,
I don't think so.
DECA Ontario sponsor us, thanks.
Yep.
If I did get sponsored by DECA Ontario, I would like stop talking to everybody. I'd just be like, I'm too cool for anyone at that point, because DECA Ontario. Well, actually, okay, I kind of like... Wait, I don't have beef with them yet. But I am going to.
Oh my goodness. Imaad, please
You
don't.
say yet?
At some point, man.
Why are you going to tarnish BCSS's relation like that with them?
Yes, the entire, like, the burden of keeping a good relationship with Olga
Holy
is now
jeez.
on you.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, what is what is the problem there? Like,
I think I was too late to know. She knows.
Okay, so what it was is that there was a specific member who, like, it was over, like, through the years, it's like certain members weren't able to keep up with their responsibilities.
Yeah.
So when something happens and you have to, like, rectify it, you can't do it through the school. You have to go through DECA Ontario. So someone messes up, the person you contact isn't Mr. Barnes, it's Olga. So the thing is that only time Olga hears from BCSS is when something goes wrong. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't she just hear something bad from every school if anything ever went wrong?
Well, that's true, but I guess how often you hear from them as well, right? You hear from us, I would like to assume, since I started at DECA almost every school year, that
When did you start at DECA?
I started DECA in grade 10.
What about you, Millie?
Grade 11.
Grade 11.
Yeah.
Hey, that was when I came in.
Yes.
It's my freshman year. Yo, you guys were, everyone just looked at me like an alien. Holy jeez. That first props, that was like the most alienating experience because everybody's just like, dude, who is this kid? What is he made of?
I'm so sorry. You look like, when you told us you were in, well, you were starting grade 10, right? Or
When?
no, you started DECA in grade
9.
Grade 9, yeah. When you're like, yeah, I'm in grade 9, everyone was like,
You had a
okay.
beard then, didn't you?
I did.
You
That's
look like
why,
a man.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish
Yo,
because like
the amount of times in like Europe, that was crazy. Like there's one dude, I was in like Italy, and I don't just want this to become like my trip across Europe podcast because I shot a whole film for it, and I don't want to give away everything. But basically, this dude, he was the check-in clerk at a hotel, and we walk in, and he checks my ID because you have to check ID for it, and then he looks at the ID, looks back at me, looks back at the ID, looks back at me, and goes, "How old are you?" And I go, "I'm 15." And then he goes, "You look older than me. I'm 36.
oh my god.
And not gonna lie, I actually looked older than him. He looked really young for 36.
Where was this in Europe?
Bologna, Italy.
Oh,
fancy.
Yeah.
No, it's a terrible town.
Oh
We
my
only
goodness.
say, like, it's literally. Oh, I could go off about every European city.
Yeah.
That's not a fan
Except,
of Europe. Okay.
except for like Geneva, Munich, and Amsterdam. Every other city's trash.
How long were you there for? Like a month or?
Well, okay, so the entire trip was like 3 weeks.
Oh,
But
okay.
like, and it depend on which city we'd spend more time in. Like Amsterdam, we spent a lot of time because the last 6 days we just spent there because we were done with traveling. Like we were really exhausted. But it would literally be like wake up one morning, see a city for like 2 hours, drive, see another city, and then drive and sleep in the next one. Like we went from Amsterdam through Brussels to Paris in one day.
Wow, that must have been so nice.
Paris is literally, it's just terrible.
Yeah,
No, really?
my cousin said that it's just...
Paris is garbage.
Yeah, he's
Paris
like,
and
it's overrated.
London. I was like really unimpressed.
Wow.
Because, okay, the thing is, both of these cities are extremely old. And as much as you can try to modernize a city, you're never really going to be able to do it. Because if you want to preserve the history in it, and then also try to modernize it, it's just going to clash because that's a conflict.
Right.
Paris doesn't have lanes.
Really?
Like, people drive wherever they want.
Oh, nice.
Is it like chaotic or?
No, yeah, it's literally chaotic. Like, there's no... It's like India, Pakistan, man. It's like
Oh,
the
God.
exact same. Like, people go where they want. The motorcycle dudes are insane. Everybody's on a motor... Well, not everybody's on a motorcycle, but most people are in cars, and they're just insane.
Definitely gonna look for your video on this, like for sure.
Yeah, I want to see
know
this
more.
now.
I'm so interested now.
Look, I'll
I mean, I
save
don't... Like, it
money.
doesn't really go... I try to make it as positive as I possibly could. Because I didn't want to, like, shame a city off of me seeing it for, like, 3 hours.
Yeah.
But after, like, the first hour, you can kind of tell, like, the structure and the culture of a city pretty
yeah,
fast.
you can like kind of tell what's
Yeah.
Also, the French accent in Paris, for any French immersion kids, it's so overrated. It doesn't sound good. It honestly doesn't. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just, like, biased. But, like, okay, no one likes the Quebec accent, because that's horrendous. And then France was, like, eh. But Brussels, like Belgium, that was the greatest accent I've ever heard.
nice.
And also, most things that you think are, like, supposed to be good, they were good. Like, Belgian chocolate or Belgian waffle. Yes, they're good.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth it.
That's good.
Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to rant about 5 minutes. You guys trying to, like, mess up my content?
I'm sorry.
Get out.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, so this is the... what was I going to ask? I don't really want to say mostly on your high school experience, but... Wait, were you guys both going to Ted Rogers? Wait, who's that owned by? Like, who runs Ted Rogers?
It's Bryerson's business school.
Nice. Wait, you guys both going to commerce?
Yeah.
Yes.
At what point did you make that decision?
I think grade 11, because up until grade 11 first semester, like I had all sciences except for physics. I had bio and I had chem scheduled, but I don't know, just something in biology, like I was doing good in the class, I didn't really like it, and I knew like there's no future in science and just biology. I need chem. So I tried business, I had accounting, and I loved it. Like I absolutely loved it. That was the year I was in DECA too, so I think that really helped like me make up my mind.
It's actually funny. I was talking to Harris about this last night. I wanted to go into law to begin with, and then I had grade 9 business with Miss Markello. Anyone goes to BCSS.
Wait, isn't grade 9 business like the BTT course?
Yeah, it's BTT.
The technology thing. Yeah.
It's introduction to business. Like,
yeah.
Like half of the stuff I knew, like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, whatever it was, but I don't know, like the passion that Miss Markello taught business with, and then like I want to go into finance. Yeah. And stock specifically, and it was just that 1 week that we had this simulation that we had to do of being in the stock market. Just something about it was just so like riveting that I loved it, and I'm like, I think this is what I want to do. And then I saw the salary and the pay, and I'm like, yeah, this is really what I want to do.
Yep.
Would you say that well, I think business is something that regardless of who you are, you're going to end up using in your life.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Like, okay, even if you're a doctor and you're trying to open up a clinic, that's a business.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, like, I know there's I don't know if it's a misconception or not, because I don't know enough people to kind of represent that point, but people always say, oh, a business degree is useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
From especially my cousins. And
how do you rebuttal?
Oh, my rebuttal is, oh, but did you get your OSSD yet? Because I don't think you did. And they're...
Yikes. Yep.
Yep. And all my cousins are in their 20s, so that kind of goes to show.
Oh, man, that's intense.
And I have one of my cousins, she did political science back home, and she's like, yeah, it was like the best degree I ever got. And I'm like, oh, so how's your campaign trail going? And she's like, oh, I'm not in politics. I'm like, okay, so... can't call business really useless if I want to go into business.
Like, I don't know, like, I'm getting a degree in something I love, but I'm so scared that I'm gonna end up doing something so, like, away from it. Yeah.
Well, there's a statistic on it.
There is?
Of course, there's a statistic on everything.
Please tell.
This is how I create content when I'm at loss of ideas. I just search up things that people say.
Very curious.
Statistics for people who, like, don't end up doing
what they majored in or degree.
Pretty sure it's, like, over 50.
It's probably over 50.
I'm pretty sure.
Actually, well, that's really high. Because if you think about all like the people who are like medical, you're probably gonna end up doing medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my uncle, he has a degree in engineering, and he's now a businessman.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at my cousins, and I want to know the statistics.
Only 27% of college grads have a job related to their major. Wait, holy, that means like...
wait, no, it's right.
Business kids, 73%?
That's
yeah.
No, that's not right. Is it right?
No. That's... Yeah, no, it's... You said it's 27, right? So it's 73. Yeah.
Really? Yes. I still got it. Yeah, 73. Yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, you just kind of have to live with that. Because whatever happens, happens. And you can't... Well, I mean, can you really control it?
To a degree, but I mean, whatever life takes you, right?
Yeah, I think it's just something in life, like, you know, for a while you might be passionate about something, and then if it changes, like, what can you do about that? It's like when you're friends with them for up until a point where maybe you get distant or whatever it is.
Yeah. Damn it. Oh, man, I had such a good follow-up question. Yeah, so I'm losing it. Like, this is what happens when you don't do this for, like, a month.
Make your notes as we're talking so you can...
That's more work. I'm not typing as you talk. Because, like, okay, my entire setup, now that the video's on, my entire setup is, like, really awkward. Usually this is not how the people sit. It's usually, like, Mili, where you're sitting is where I sat, and then at the other opposite end of the table is where the guest sits. But now, because the whole point is, like, you guys are the focal point in the camera. Yeah. So in case anyone wondering, because this probably will be uploaded, I don't know if like this exact part what I'm talking about is going to be uploaded, but basically I'm going to be posting highlights from the podcast, just the kind of like best 10 to 15 minutes of it, just so that it can be a little preview for the podcast. It'll go up on the podcast YouTube channel once again, youtube.com/notartistblogpod, because I don't have a custom URL yet. Yeah. Did you guys thing I was going to ask you was, did you guys ever have a large passion that you really wanted to follow, but then didn't end up following for whatever reason?
Yeah.
During your high school experience? Or even maybe not.
Yeah. I think history, if I'd never had Mr. Bryan. I really never had Mr. Bryan as a teacher, and I think like if I followed through on history, it would have been really interesting. Like I think I would have liked it, but I never had space in my schedule, and it was either this or that. But
I always think about that because I really liked history, and I still do, but like I just don't have.
I think I really missed out on like a high school like thing. I never had Mr. Bryan as a teacher.
I think for me it was drama. Like ever since I was little, like I know this is gonna sound like when you're little and someone asks you, "What do you want to do?" Like, "Oh, I want to be a princess," or whatever. Like I wanted to go into acting. I wanted to be an actress because it was something that I truly loved.
Yeah.
You get to leave.
No, it's like a full-on real job, man. That's like it's like a different kind of comparison. A princess and an actor, yeah.
Right, like you leave yourself as a person, you become someone else. Right?
Yeah.
And like I had like I did drama, like I always took it, and then something kind of switched in me that I'm like, well, I need to stop living this fantasy because realistically, not a lot of people end up making it big, right? And my parents are like, typical, you know.
And also, you know, you could still do it.
Mm-hmm.
I could, but the thing is that, like, what I want to do is so time-consuming and so demanding that... Yeah, and it was just, I'm like, well, you know, I need to start focusing on being realistic and being in reality. That I'm like, well, I guess taking accounting is more important than taking a drama course.
Mr. Kanergis definitely would like make everyone in his class actually think
I think he like got mad at Deanna that she did.
Yeah, he yelled at me for like 15 minutes in front of...
For what?
For not taking
class. Drama. He's like, you have so much potential.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you continue with it? And I'm like, well, the thing is that I need to be realistic now. He's like, what's not realistic about taking drama? And I'm like, the possibility of me making it big and actually making a proper living out of it, that I'm getting like a proper salary to, you know, not have to live off of my mom and dad.
It's definitely like that's such a hard leap, and I think I'm gonna sound like such a hater to like all the people who preach it, but you always see the people on Instagram or on YouTube talking about, you know, make that giant leap. But the thing is, you never really hear about the people who didn't make it, because those people did.
Yeah.
So like you only hear about the winners and however much they went. And you always talk about, oh, if you just keep on going, eventually it'll happen. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I think about, obviously, with this kind of thing and whatnot, where I'm just like, what if I were to just, like, drop it and go? There's someone who's going to be coming on the podcast, hopefully by the end of August. His name's Amrit. I don't know if you guys know him. But he's from Brampton, and what's his
name?
Amrit Singh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes to Herald M. So he basically took that leap, and he's not going to university, and he's just focusing on his films and his videography. And it's like, I really want to see what goes on with him, because it's just something that if he does end up winning, which I really hope he does, because he's like super, super talented. And if he does end up winning, then it kind of shows that if you put a certain amount of work into it, it might actually happen.
Yeah,
that is a larger chance than you think.
It's one of those things that not only do you have to like take, I guess, a calculated chance, but you have to have 100% confidence in yourself. Because if you're a bit, you know, iffy about what you're doing, then if it goes down, you're like, oh well, I thought it was going to happen, right? And then you want to push yourself. It's like the way people push themselves in universities. Yes, I want to get this degree. Yes, I want to do whatever it is. It's the same, I think, attitude people have to go into things like this with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Going back to the point about going into business and whatnot, could you point to a certain event in your early childhood in which you could say, hey, maybe that's why I like business now?
Oh, yeah. I think now that I look back at it, when I was young, when there would be like a family gathering, we would be watching TV, and when like some of my cousins, they were, you know, in business, and they would just switch on BNN, the Business News Network. And I would see like the lines going, and I would ask them, be like, what is going on? They would try to explain to me like about stocks, and I got interested, I think, then slowly. Didn't think much of it. I was a kid, but I think that was probably where I kind of got interested in it.
I think it's, for me, I think it was kind of because of my mom and dad. I have to say thanks to my mom and dad. Like, I live a really comfortable life. Like, majority of things that I want, if I ask my mom and dad, they'll, you know, at first they'll be like, no, but then a couple, like, you know, sometime later they'll cave and, like, I'll get it. And that's one of those things. I know business, regardless of what you do, someone's always going to need you to do something for their business, whether you're doing their taxes for them, you're managing their money for them, you're human resources for them. I think it's quite lucrative. So I want to continue being able to provide myself and when I have kids that comfortable life.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's guaranteed to not become what a lot of people call a robot job, which is like, I don't know if you guys ever think about this, but like that's a huge fear of mine. It's like, what if I can actually be replaced in the job that I end up doing?
By a robot.
Like, yeah, by a robot. But like, I mean, there is like talk about it, how there's, you know, they're gonna rule the world. Maybe not, because that's like super down the road, and all the artificial intelligence just doesn't it hasn't reached that point yet. Which is a common misconception. No, robots are going to take a long time until they can like start doing exactly what we do.
I'll be dead by then, so
yeah,
I don't
like
think that'll be my
exactly.
problem.
My lifetime, yeah.
I mean, like, okay, there was a headline a couple weeks ago, and this is like really old because this is back when I was in Europe, which feels like ages ago, even though it was like 5 days ago. And it was like the Alexas, like, okay, so like a group of the Amazon Echoes, they would just start laughing.
That is
Like they would make the
scary.
laughing sound effect, and I was like, and then I have a Google Home in my house, right? So I was just like, if that thing ever just laughed,
That's it.
I would lose my shit. Like I would just walk out and just burn my house right there. Like, you know how scary that is. Like, I mean, it was like a malfunction. Amazon cleared it up after, but that's some scary. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if that happened to you.
You're just sitting watching TV and here's like like laughing in the corner. Like,
Yeah,
my
and
goodness.
and the Echo's laughing is like really creepy as well, because it's like robotic laughter, right? And it's exactly what you think it is. Yes, it's that.
Yep.
It's terrible. Breaking news coming to you straight. It's funny. I realized after I started using that sound effect a lot that most news stations from like Southeast Asia. Wait, is that where India Pakistan is? No, that's like Southwest. But yeah, most of those all use that exact same effect, and it's just like.
It's a very familiar. Yeah.
Do you want us to break the table like they do in a lot of the shows? Like they just flip the tables over and break them?
You know, I always thought about like, oh, this is one thing that I like. If I were to say my dream job for like a really long time was to be a news anchor, because like I was just like, oh my god, it'd be so cool. But then I just watched like CNN, and I'm just like, am I really trying to argue like for an hour?
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like I'd lose train of my point, and I just start babbling, and I'd be like, wait, this is on like live.
Exactly. Yeah, this is why I'll never do live anything. Live anything is like that's this. Because if you mess up once, that's it. Like, that's your career.
Isn't this live, though?
No, it isn't live.
Oh.
Because I can just edit stuff out.
Oh, that's true.
Imaad, please edit really well. Make us look good, you know? Yes.
How do you think editing works? It's audio.
I don't know.
This isn't like a photo in which I can like Photoshop parts of your skin away.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of photos, if you want really prime photos, DM me.
Yes, photography.
Yeah. Okay.
Photography.
Nice.
That was one thing. Did you guys know Jason stole his camera?
He stole his camera?
Like the camera that he uses, it was stolen?
Oh my goodness, no. Oh, the Polaroid?
No.
No,
like the DSLR that he has.
Do you know the story? Please explain.
Okay, so
Is this not like an accessory to crime? Please.
Yeah, me?
No,
I wasn't part of it.
I don't want to be a part of it now.
No. I mean, it's done now. Like he graduated. Anyway, basically.
Oh, he stole from
From
yearbook.
yearbook.
He stole from
Oh,
yearbook.
okay.
So and I was telling the story on the season finale. All the listeners can go back and listen, but. Like he tells it better than I do, but he literally just walked in and stole a camera.
Nice.
Sounds like Jason. No offense.
Like now I'm just like really. I was like, what if I just did that? I could have just taken so many things.
Listen, Mili stole a math textbook of all things.
Data
so
textbook. I still
have
it
my
in
grade
room.
8 textbook.
Yeah.
I have a grade 7 social science textbook somewhere.
Have you read it?
Pardon?
Have you like ever gone back to just read it?
No.
Oh,
I don't
I
even know
also
where... I moved, right? Like from
Oh, yeah,
middle
yeah.
school to high school, so I don't even know where it is.
I also think I took Macbeth too by accident, or Hamlet.
It was Macbeth.
Macbeth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love how you know and then.
No, because I wanted to borrow a Hamlet. I'm like, do you have it? She's like, oh, let me check. She's like, no, I only have Macbeth, so that's why. She played me.
Interesting. You see, wait. At my middle school, I don't know if you guys had this, but if you didn't return like a book or something, you wouldn't get your yearbook or something like that.
Oh.
Does our school not have that?
I honestly
You could literally
don't
just
know.
take anything.
Yeah,
I
as
don't
long
think-
as you don't have, like, you take one that hasn't been, like, assigned to your name or anyone's name, like,
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
that's
no
true.
way of them finding out.
it just
Wow.
went missing.
That makes you an accessory to crime.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that.
Okay, no, technically it doesn't because no crime was committed.
Congratulations. Yeah. Isn't thought crime a thing? Wait, no, that was a joke in the movie.
Yeah, but that's not thought crime.
Wait, thought crime's a real thing?
Yeah, that's in 1984 by George Orwell. Did you not?
I'm lost. Go, educate us.
Okay, so in grade 12, there's this book where you can read between Animal Farm by George Orwell or 1984, and basically it was like a totalitarian government that they were under, and if you thought anything besides the propaganda that they fed you, it's considered thought crime